Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Vobes show. We're a bit early today. If you're watching live, we are a little tad early. We had a slight technical hitch with YouTube. Couldn't get the. They've got two systems to go live, and they've got this newfangled, fancy, swanky system, which is called. Hello, you can hear me. That's all right. Just want to make sure. Called Studio, and it's on a web page, and it wouldn't load up. It doesn't matter how many times I restarted the machine or that I did reset the browser, wouldn't set up. Doesn't matter. They have their more primitive version, which is less swanky, I should say. But here am I, and it's all working, so that was good. And I had to test it, and you don't get so many options as to have a preview and with the primitive version and then just go live when you want. You have to go live to see the preview. So I had to go live, and then once I've gone live, of course, the alert goes out, everybody's told, and that's it. So here am I. Anyway, hello and welcome. I've sort of set everything up so I can still have a nice chat to you, which is grand. Nigel Sadler is up there saying, keep it short, then tuck yourself up into bed. Good advice from the Sadler. Andy Stacey says, why, is he not well? No, I haven't been very well recently. I've been a bit poorly, ladies and gentlemen. Still got a bit of a bunged up nose, so I may not be quite as over the top as I often am, but I did promise on Wednesday that the most likelihood was I'd do a show, hoping that the lovely Julia was going to be here in the show, but unfortunately she also is ill, as are a number of people. She rang me up this morning and said, I'm not very well. I said, I'm not very well. No, we're not very well. So, and I think even little Joseph is not very well. So we're hoping that by Monday we'll both be reasonable enough. Well, I should be better by then to stagger into the studio here and do a show, which should be nice. Jeff Kellison is out there. He says, is it the equipment or is it YouTube that's up the spout? As I explained just now, it is actually YouTube. I thought for a moment it was going to be me, but it just seems there's a technical thing on YouTube. I don't know why. I shut everything down in the previous way. I'm logged in and all the rest of it. So maybe other people are having the same problem. Or maybe it's just us down here in sunny Worthing. Who knows? Patrick Rose says, you should go a bit more easy on yourself. Quite right, I jolly well should. But if I don't do this, who's going to do it? One has to make an appearance and, show willing. Show willing whilst you can. Kevin says, nothing apart from chatting. What do you mean, nothing apart from chatting? That's all I ever do. The lovely Kevin was here earlier in the day. He's been helping. Well, not so much helping. He's been doing all the bloody work. I've just been making cups of tea, providing sausage, chips and beans, and lots of jokes as well. He made me walk the plank, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm not talking about piracy at the high seas. Nothing like that. Oh, no. He made me walk the plank over my stairwell, which I can tell you was extremely frightening. We have the video evidence, not playing it in the show tonight, but it will be in tomorrow's video. So something to look forward to in the morning. It's all edited up, it's all scheduled, it's raring to go. And if you want to get up early and look at it, it will be up from 4 o'clock a.m. British Mean Time. I know that's mean of me, but that's the time it goes out. That's so that some people in America, those that are tuning in America, can actually watch it, depending on what state you're in, around about 10 o'clock. I never quite know which state, the time zones move about, but in one of the time zones, it's around 10 o'clock, whatever GMT is, equates to wherever that is. At 4 a.m., it's 10 o'clock, so I guess that's 6 hours behind, isn't it? So some people will get to see it tonight and other people will wait until the morning. Linda Kane says, hello, Richard. Hello, Linda. Hope you're well. Nice to see you out there. Thank you very much for coming along. David Keel is also there. Hello, David. Hope you are well. Linda says, you're not looking after yourself. Overweight, overwork, missing meals and not enough sleep. It's a tragedy. It is a tragedy. I've been getting up at 4 o'clock. I was up at 4 o'clock this morning uploading the video onto YouTube and answering the comments, which was something I do every day, but I normally do it at about 7 o'clock, but, has to be done. Nigel Sadler says, and now paint fumes too. Yes, that's right. The fumes are coming. Oh, I might need to blow my nozzle every now and again. One moment, ladies and gentlemen. I just need to blow my hooter. Luckily, you didn't see that or hear it. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't mute the microphone. Hang on. Let me try. That's far, far, far better. I feel more refreshed for that. The lovely Julia is going to be very upset that I've started the show early, but don't tell her is the best policy. No, I don't mean that at all. Luke Selkirk, who is there, says, "Good evening, Richard." And oh, hello, Luke. Nice to see you there. How are you? Now, I want to get your pronunciation right. I've got a bit of time. Today I'm taking it a bit slower tonight. So, Murriette. Is it Murriette? Genealogy? Is that how you pronounce? How do you pronounce your first name or the first word? Murriette is what I'm seeing, but maybe it's not pronounced that. If you could write it for me phonetically, that would be great. Unless, of course, I've got it absolutely spot on. I'm not very good at reading names. Kevin says it was funny when Richard was walking the plank. Yes, he was quite mean, but we will see that in tomorrow's video. And Shining Starry says, "You get up early, Richard." Well, I schedule it. The truth is I schedule the Bald Explorer videos, so they go up at 4 a.m. I'm not up at 4 a.m., but I get up about 6-ish, so that's not too bad. The lovely Matthew there says, "Evening, just popping in briefly." Hello, Matthew. Very kind of you to pop in briefly. I've got some stuff behind me which I should be opening live on the show, so you might want to hang around for that. Something very special that a certain Yank has sent over, and both bits, 3 bits actually, or 2 bits are connected and one is separately connected, have arrived. So that's very exciting. The lovely Robert Croser from Cumbria up there in Carlisle has arrived. I just looked around then as if I could see Carlisle, but I couldn't. But it's nice to see him. David Kitchen. Good evening, David. Fiona Cooper. Hello to you, Fiona. No glossing today. No. We were just doing the whatever finish it is, a matte finish, I suppose. Kevin says, "Steady, Robert." So that's good. Dean Cooper says, "Good evening, Richard. I'm cooking an Indian." Oh, I hope the Indian doesn't mind. They do get a bit upset when their bum gets to smoke. But he's watching at the same time. I would watch the Indian. So Fiona Cooper says he's just cooking my Indian. So it's Fiona's Indian you're cooking. Be nice with him. So there we go. Laura Riddle has come in here. Hello, Laura. Lovely to see you. You're looking very suave this evening, Richard. Well, one does try to make an effort from time to time. Other times I'm dressing down. Today I thought I'd dress up, make myself feel okay. Ed Loud. Hello, Ed. Lovely to see you. Thanks so much for coming along on this fine evening. It was wet earlier this morning, cold yesterday, rainy this morning. And I had no idea. I haven't been outside recently for weeks and weeks and weeks because, didn't want to get a cold. Mr. Great Plum says, "I will stay as long as I can then." Oh, good man. Good man. I think you'll like it. I think, well, you may like it. You probably will know more about this sort of stuff than I do. So I'll get on with it very soon because I'm going to ask for contributions to the thing I'm about to produce. It's like a rabbit coming out of a hat. It's very exciting. Patrick Rose says, "I'm stuck with my family tree. Could do with a hand." What are you stuck with your family tree? What kind of tree is it? Is it an oak tree? Is it a fir tree? Is it an elm tree? If it's an elm tree, well, you might check the Dutch. They're pretty good with elms at the moment. On the Beatles, they have a lot to say about elm trees, don't they? Robert Croser says, "Rockcliffe, Richard. Rockcliffe. Is that where you are? Rockcliffe, not Cumbria, not Carlisle. It's near Carlisle, though. It's, a ballpark figure for people to think about." Ed Loud says, "Currently watching from a hospital in South London." Oh my God, Ed, are you okay? Is it your dad? Are you with your father? Is he okay? Do let me know. Or if you're just there, having, I don't know, something stuck up the derriere. We all have to do it at some point. I've got to go and have a scan on certain parts of my anatomy, which I cannot show you for decency reasons. But that is another story, which I can reveal at some point, I'm sure, when I've got the results back. Jeff Kellison says, I hope Marvin is out there and okay. Oh, hello, Marvin. I hope, Marvin, you're there and is okay. They've had that crazy man shoot up the Navy base in, oh, here we go, Pensacola. Is that how you pronounce it? Pensacola? That's terrible news. We don't want to hear that. Anne Osborne, hello to you, Anne. Lovely to see you. Everyone's saying hello to Anne. It's always nice to say hello to Anne. And the lovely Julia. I missed a bit. Yes, sorry, Julia. What happened, I just have to explain this to Julia because she gets incredibly upset with me. I went live about 10 minutes early because I was having technical issues with YouTube and I couldn't get the usual screens up. And I had to test it, but I wanted to test it discreetly. And then before I knew what happened, we'd gone live and there was nothing I could do. So I thought, well, better to address the audience than to ignore them. So anyway, I'm glad you could make it and that's all good. Nigel Sarah says, sorry to hear that. Hang on, let me see what Ed says. Granddad's seriously been ill. I'm here with him for 3 days. Oh, I'm so sorry. I know what that's like, having looked after my father to the bitter end with my sister. But I did quite a lot of that on my own, and it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. So thoughts go out to you, Ed, and if we can make light of the time or help it pass the next hour or so, then that's what I'm here to do. If it takes your mind off things, then that's even better. So it is a heart-wrenching time. I know exactly what you're going through. Linda Kane says, hi, Julia. I hear you're poorly. Yes, I mean, independently of me, she seems to have got a bit of the Vobes bug. So I don't know if anybody else has got a bit of the Vobes bug. It seems to be going around. If you have, I'm afraid to say you're buggered. But I am afraid to say that in case, that's a word that we're not supposed to say. Hey-ho. Robert Croser says, Anne, hello from the Solway Firth. He can't make up his mind. 1 minute it's in Cumbria, then he's in Carlisle, then he's at Red Rock or something, and now he's in the Solway Firth. He keeps moving about. Perhaps he's got a GPS attached to him and a bumper car, and he's shunting around the countryside. Who knows? Francesco Bellringer says, hi... I don't know what that means. Oh, Richard. He was using the predictive text and it came up with some incredibly weird name. Not me. Luke Selkirk says, sending the best wishes from Worthing to Ed. Yeah, good luck, Ed. And how come we have a show today? Well, we're so ignorant when it comes to bell ringing. We thought we might get a little bit more from your incredible book that you have. What did you call it? The Derby Curse or something. The Derby Curse? Or is it the Derby... It was something like that. The old Epsom Derby? Was it the Epsom Derby and the Nag's Head or something like that? I can't remember. It was something to do with horses anyway. Ed says, I remember about your dad, Richard. Really admired you for that. Remember the videos. Yeah, the videos are still up on YouTube if you want to see. And every now and again I do occasionally catch it. Even I get recommended to my own videos, which is a bit bizarre. And sometimes one of those ones where I was looking after Dad comes up. And that's, a bit of a stomach punch. So it's very hard. Sometimes I don't do that. Robert Croser is clarifying stuff now. The GPS has finally sort of settled. And he's coming up with some myth that the Rockcliffe Files was shot in the Solway Firth. I think the Rockcliffe Files, being an American TV series, was actually shot in America, to be fair. I don't think that was in anything to do with the Solway Firth. And I'd like to know, what does Firth mean? It's a Scottish word, is it? What's Firth mean, Robert? Love those videos too. Videos. Yes, that's right. I make videos. Videos for idiots. Vidiots. There's a new word for you. Mark Donny McLeod is in the house. Hello, Mark Donny McLeod. Good to see you in the house. Where were you earlier when we needed you and we were doing some painting in the house? We had to use Mr. Kevin Hall to do the painting in the house, and what a lovely, lovely thing he did, which was lovely. Lovely Julia is saying, Linda, I have head and toothaches. Oh, yeah, she's got terrible teeth. Aches. Not she's got terrible teeth. You have to be careful where you put the full stop because obviously that could have been very embarrassing and the next time she saw me I would have no teeth, which wouldn't be very nice. Oh yeah, here we go. The Dove's Guide. The Guide to Doves. Now if you happen to have one of those little pigeon houses that they had in the old days at medieval places, a dovecot, I think they were called. You too could sit there with the Dove's Guide and look out at the birds in the sky and go, That's a white one. That's a black and white one. That's a grey one. That's a sort of mottled grey one. That's kind of white with a bit of a black bit. That's one with a missing beak. That's a one-eyed dove. That's one, the one coming down towards me incredibly fast. Oh, that's one with no wings. That one's just been shot out of the air. It's a great guidebook, and it comes with its own little clanger, apparently. And dong, you can do that whenever you wipe. Rob King says, "Hi Richard, what do you use for editing your videos?" That's a good question. The answer is DaVinci. What is it? DaVinci. I've forgotten now. Something DaVinci. What is it called? I know I use it. Yes, I know what it's called. It's something Resolve. How embarrassing is that, ladies and gentlemen? DaVinci Resolve. That's what I use, and it's free. It's free. I'm using version 15 as opposed to 16 because at the moment 16 has a few issues, it seems, certainly with my machine, especially the super duper Hydra Klooper machine that Mr. Jeff Kellison, a very lovely, generous supporter of the show, the main man when it comes to helping out with equipment recently, who has built this computer single-handedly from parts of cows. Definitely parts of cows, and only he will really get that reference. But that is what it is. DaVinci Resolve is what I use, and 16 is available, and 15. I don't know if 15 is still available, but 16 is free. There is a studio version. I think the whole thing is about $200, but I'm not paying the $200 until I know that the latest edition actually works on my computer. Robert Croser says, "I did a video and photos, but you did watch it. Good. Well, that's nice." Linda Kane says, "Julia, poor you. You must be run down too. Have you managed to get a dental appointment?" And I'm not sure that she has, actually. Poor old Julia. Mark Donny McLeod said, "I saw the painting in the house with your main man, Kev." Yes, the video we did yesterday. Painting in the house with good old Kev, who he's very handy with a brush. He's very handy. He has a centre parting, and he does something. He greases up his beard, but he's very handy. Elijah says, "Hello, Elijah. Hope you're well. Hope you haven't got Mummy's cold or Joseph's cold or anything like that." So that's all nice. Luke Silkirk says, "Do coo." Oh, that is the sound, obviously, of a dove. And you can look that up on page 372 in the Dove's Guide to Better Dove Work. That is a book for joiners. You can dovetail your joints in a way that even the what is it? Something antennas. Morton and what is it? Pestle and Morton joints. Peston. He's on Andrew Neil joints. Something like that. I don't know. The knee joints. They're all going. We were going very well. Andrew Sadler says, "This is fast becoming the Old Crocs show tonight." What is the Old Croc? What does that mean? Old Crocs. Must be the time of year. What? Can somebody explain what old crockery? Are you talking about crockery? We'll come on to crockery in a minute because I've got something to show you. Francis Bellringer has got a very strange caption that's just come up. But Robert Croser says, "Careful, you'll get a cold sore." And you don't want one of those sores of yours to get cold. If you've got a sore, keep them in the warm next to the rest of the woodworking tools that you have, because those saws, they're not so easy to use once they're cold. I've seen people have drill bits put in the fridge. Not a good idea. And don't dangle them from your ears. That's not a good look. So there we go. Linda Kane says, "Robert, you did or did you?" I'm not quite sure. DaVinci Resolve says... yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. Lara has joined us. Hello, Lara. Hope you're well. Nigel Sadler says, "2 sick people in my house today." There's a lot going around because we're now officially in winter. And when winter comes, we all start dying in horrible, agonising deaths. Which, don't say too much of that because Ed Loud is in hospital with his granddad, and we mustn't say anything about that. So that's good. So there we are. Now, I want to show you... Oh, what is this? Nigel Sadler says, "Crocs equal crook or sick." Sick is better. I can understand that. To me, a crook is somebody who steals something from your house, and a croc is short for either a crocodile or crockery. So you've got to make up your mind, haven't you, when you pick the words in the English language, because you could be talking about many different things. And we have to keep this simple, mainly because I have only got one brain. And it doesn't have very many cells left in it. Now, earlier this week, ladies and gentlemen... Oh, Kevin's Ramble says, sorry, Richard, I have to get ready to go and see Steve Musco's band. He must go there this evening. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you, Kevin. It's lovely to see you. Take care. Look after yourself. And by the way, the paint, is it supposed to be blotchy with all those black spots in it? I mean, it's very nice, but it's not what we asked for. Ed Loud says, hope they will get well soon. That's good. Nigel says it's oldie English, without the E, of course. Is it? Old crock? Well, I'm afraid, as much as I like old things, I don't read that much old English. Just as well. I don't read it. I'm not a great fan of Shakespeare, as it so happens. He got all his facts wrong, for one thing, and he wrote in a very... He spent ages to say one thing, you know, to be or not to be, should I suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, to do this, to do that, to do that. It's like, you know, should I, shouldn't I kill myself? But he goes on pages and pages to say one thing, and he was very lapse in stage directions. So I'm not very keen on Shakespeare personally. Crook equal local councillors and MPs. Yes, there we go. Absolutely right. And there's plenty of those shysters at the moment. I was listening actually to the... Andrew Neil has been interviewing everybody, bar, of course, Boris Johnson, who I have to say, I don't want to get into any of the political stuff, but I think Boris Johnson, basically, very wise man, not to be interviewed by Andrew Neil. The rest of them, they've all been taken apart. And if I was there looking at this going, do I want to go in there and get taken apart? What, this close to the election? No, I don't think I'll bother. I can't blame him. I honestly can't blame him. Because he's bound to blunder through it and make a whole load of mistakes, just as I would. But everybody else has been ripped to shreds by wonderful Andrew. I think Andrew Neil is a god. Quite what he's doing on the BBC, because they're terribly biased, but he's the only sort of proper journalist left, I think. Anyway, just my opinion. You may totally and utterly disagree with me. We won't get into politics on this show. So, I want to show you something. I have some things here, ladies and gentlemen. Now, can anyone tell me what this is? This is a lid. Yes, that's right. It is a lid. Now, I need some help on the pronunciation. Let's just go to the webcam here so you can see a lot worse. This is me in the studio, and the place looks a right mess when you go to the webcam. But hey-ho, that's what we're looking at. So let me just focus in on this. Can anyone tell me how you pronounce the name of this, please? There we are. Is it Le Creuset? It must be French. It probably is French. But if someone could tell me can you do that phonetically, please? La Creuset. La, le, lu, li, li. It's a French thing. I believe this is a lid, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. This is the new standard issue steering wheels for electric cars. Not only is it a steering wheel, but it is also a windscreen at the same time. And if you're able to do that, you can actually have automatic windscreens as you drive. Windscreen wipers, of course. So Linda Kane says, Le Creuset, says Judith. Le Creuset. I defer to Judith, says Nigel Sadler. A Shining Star says, Let Creuset. That's what I thought. Le Creuset, says Mr. Great Plum. Well, that's very expensive stuff, sent in by the very lovely Jeff Killison. And he said, you know what, Richard, I've seen you buy a $12 skillet. I think in America, a frying pan is known as a skillet, whereas I think over here a skillet is something that's ribbed for putting, for grilling, it's kind of grilling or frying beef or chops or meat, I think that's what a skillet is over here. Whereas I think to us it's a frying, Americans it's a skillet, to us it's a frying. Anyway, he said, I saw you had this cheap old frying pan, and you've got to get serious, he said. You've got to get serious when you're dealing with Teflon. And so this is the Teflon that was actually painted all round the Apollo 13 module that landed on the moon. Anyway, this is just the lid. Look how big that lid is. Isn't that super sexy? It's not now because I've got my fingerprints all over it. But that is super sexy. It doesn't go on my head. If I was to... Hang on, I have to get down a bit. If I do this... Oh, hang on, I can do it over here, like this. If I do this... Do 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 dum da dum da dum da dum do 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 do. Does that ring a bell with you? No, not really. That was the theme from The Saint with Roger Moore in the 1960s. The theme from The Saint. Yes, satellite dish, says Robert Croser. Yeah, it could be, couldn't it? Could be. Calling extraterrestrials from Mother Earth. Are you receiving me? H.G. Wells' The War of the Worlds. What they said that nothing from Mars could ever come, and yet they do. Or words to that effect. I can't remember. The chances of anything... Oh, that's it. The chances of anything coming from Mars is 1,000,000 to 1, they said. Ooh, the chance... Anyway, it goes on. Good old Jeff Wayne. He had something to do with that. Expensive stuff, says Rob King. No wonder you've only got the lid. Yes, I've got the lid there, ladies and gentlemen. But wait. It gets more exciting as the day goes on. Nigel Sadler says a skillet is the tool that you would flip the steaks or pancakes in the frying pan. Oh, I see. Is that what it is? Donny McLeod, Mark Donny McLeod, says LOL to Rob King. Dave Ford says Le Creuset means the crucible in French. That was a play, wasn't it, by Miller? Somebody Miller. What was his name? The Accidental Death of a Salesman. What was his name? Arthur Miller. Not Arthur Mullard. I don't think Arthur Mullard wrote many plays. If he did, I don't think there'd be much cop. There's a subtle difference between Arthur Miller and Arthur Mullard. But it's they both share the same initials. And do you know what? Neither of them went to the same primary school. Just a little fact there I'd throw at you. Mark Donny McLeod is also doing an LOL, or have I just read that? Yes, I have just read that. Linda Kane says, for broiling... a la USA. Now, I'd like to know what broiling is. Could you please explain to thick Vobes here, who knows nothing, what broiling is? I know what boiling is, but you slipped in an extra R there. And I'd like to know, but I'd like to know what that means. Good evening, Mr. Templar. Oh, good evening. Yes, good evening. Dead ringer for Ian Ogleby. Well, yes, Ian Ogleby, of course, was the second incarnation, the Return of the Saint. Do you remember that? And the Return of the Saint had a different tune, and I used to be able to sing all these tunes, and. It was a much faster beat, wasn't it? No, I'm not thinking of the Devil's Gallop. I know I was veering on to the Devil's Gallop there, wasn't I? Which was, of course, Dick Barton's theme. Oh, it's great, that Dick Barton. The Devil's Gallop, that's known as. Can't remember who the original composer was. But he's probably not with us anymore. A great album. Yeah, I can't remember the how the Saint da 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 dum da 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 dum da 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 da. I know it sounds crap coming out my mouth. It's a bit like that. There's a fast bit, and you'll have to listen to that. I've got it on a CD-ROM in the car. Linda Kane says, isn't that where they play snooker? Snooker? I've never heard of a game of snooker. Broiling. I still want to know what broiling is. Can somebody tell me what broiling is? Crucible, also the name of a theatre in Sheffield, which was the venue to the TV snooker back in the day. Oh, thank you very much, Nigel Sadler. He is one of our brain boxes out there. Ed Loud says, The Devil's Gallop. Well, I'm damned. I always wondered what it was called. There you go. That's what it is. Dick Barton's Secret Agent with his three chums, Jock and Snowy. It was such a great radio programme. My dad apparently used to, was glued to the wireless when it came on at 5:45, 5:45, I think it was. And away you went. And he was always in these terrible scrapes, and there were these cliffhanger endings. Special Agent, not Secret Agent, but Special Agent, Dick Barton. My dad used to love it. Poor old dad, he's now dead, and I was going to say dead and buried, but he's not. He's actually on the shelf in the back room, in a box. So he's probably, all the little ashes are probably just spiking around at the moment, going anyway, enough of this gay banter. And Mr. Great Plum says, I've got to make a banana and split. Fair enough. There was another bit that you haven't seen, but you'll have to see that on the action replay, something to do with the Crucible, which I have over here. Oh, an egg and scramble. Oh, yes. Bye, Matthew, says Nigel Sadler. Or a hat. Yes, we've done all these before, Matthew. I think you've done all these jokes once before. Rob King, on the other hand, says, my other half just walked in and said, what the hell are you watching? Is that Harry Hill? No, I'm his brother. Over the hill. Sorry, help you out there. Yeah, thanks. Sorry, Rob, it's embarrassing, isn't it? When the missus comes in and they're looking at you going, what, you're watching the internet? This bloke's live on the internet? This is stupid. It's not television. What are you watching this? It's some feeble, bald-headed bloke trying to be funny. You don't want to watch any of that nonsense. Except that now she's drawn in a stool next to you on the kitchen table, and she's probably thinking, oh, this is quite nice. He's actually quite nice, isn't he? Oh, I quite like him. He's quite a nice friend. You should invite him round for lunch one day. I'll make him a nice scrambled egg suet. Whatever a scrambled egg suet is. I don't actually eat scrambled egg suets, just so you know, so don't make one of those. But scrambled egg, a nice cheesy scrambled egg with a bit of bacon thrown in and some black pepper. Now you're talking. That would be very nice. Yeah, yes, I'll pop round, not unless you happen to be absolutely miles away, which would be no good. The lovely Julia says, have a great weekend to Matthew, who is departing. And Mr. Plum says, I might get on before the end. Oh, well, I'm going to just about to reveal the next exciting element of this rather Le Crucible portable steering wheel that I've got here. Rob King, my missus, has said the same thing. I know. We are starting a cult here. You do understand that, don't you? The wives, spouses, have a hotline. It's 0800 555 2555 455 5554 5555. It's a hotline that goes straight to help. I've lost my husband to the Vobes cult. Help me, what can I do? Whereupon you do get an answering machine that says, have you had an accident recently? If you have, we'll put you on to somebody from another country who speaks in an abominable language, but it is all actually English, and we're going to find out everything we know because we suspect that you've got a Microsoft computer and you've got a virus, and it's just one great big scam, I'm afraid to say. Linda Kane says, my mum and dad used to watch snooker on the black and white television, and she remembers, don't tell me, the time, the famous clip, of course, where they said it is the pink ball which is just there behind the black, and it was on a black and white set, something like that. I can't remember that. Do you remember that? Everybody remembers that clip. Except I could obviously bastardised it up. Nigel Sadler says, I think we all did, Linda. Do you remember before, when people were fit? When television first came out, people still remained fit. They could watch the television and they could still remain fit because they had to get up every 2 minutes to just retune the signal because it would go into, the horizontal hold used to fly. Do you remember those days when the horizontal hold would go up, the whole thing would flip up and up and up like this, and you'd go, oh God, and you go back to the dial and turn it. None of this push button stuff. You turn it. Do you remember? And to tune in, you had to have the UHF, and you. This is the BBC Home IT Quatermass and the Pit. Do you remember that? And they used to, they say, don't forget to unplug your television when you go to bed. And then you'd wait for the little dot, the little white dot to get smaller and smaller, and eventually it would disappear. And then, after some time, they would play the national anthem. Do you remember that? You'd wait. It would all go dark. You'd have all the lights out, and the voice would say, don't forget to unplug your television and go to bed, or something like that. And then you'd get the drums would go, and you'd get the national anthem. How does the national anthem go? Does anybody actually sing the national? I can't even remember. God save our gracious King. God save our Queen. Our gracious King and the Queen. Dum 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 jolly. What? Dum 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 jolly? No, that's not how it went. Robert Croser says, quote from my missus, you're watching that odd bod again. When are you two getting married? We're not getting married, funnily enough. I've been married, and I'm not doing it again. Nigel Sadler says, yes, you had to twiddle it like tuning a radio. That's exactly what it was like. It was great fun, and I remember the day we got the colour television, and this massive thing came in, and you could push buttons. And when you pushed the button, it wasn't like an instant change. There was this sort of flash, and then the picture sort of settled down, and you go, do you know, we've got 2 channels to choose from. You could press onto BBC Two, and the buttons actually had the name of the station. It said BBC One on it. It was pre-tuned, and BBC. You press the button, and it did that. They were great days. Paul Richards says, bang on the top of the TV used to sort it out. That's exactly true. You'd get your shoe off, wouldn't you, and go dish. Like that, and it would be fine. So you would go back and you would sit down, you'd just be into the programme, and you'd be watching, I don't know, the Bruce Forsyth, the Generation Game, the first time round, and then, good game, love. All right, let's look at the old floorboard. Michael and John, 2 points, and John and Michael, 3 points. Didn't they do? When it was just, when it was young and fruity, and up it would all go, up. Suddenly, it would all go mad. Yes, Lydia Mason. Hello to you, Lydia Mason. She remembers it well. Kids keep me young. Indeed they do. Linda says, going to live in sin. Who's going to live in? Are you going to live in sin? Oh, we're going to live in sin with Robert Croser. That's what you're saying. Hang on, I get the older. And Nigel Sedler's, oh, the white dot. Yes, the white dot. I don't know. Screen was about 20 inches. Golly, that was a big screen. Back in the 20 inches. What's that, like that? Yeah, and I mean, you could see the lines, couldn't you? The black and white television, you could see the scan lines because it was very slow back in those days. Robert Croser says, our first colour telly had doors on the front. Yes, I think we had. They liked to hide them like it was a cabinet. Like, it made it look like it was a drinks cabinet, which I don't know what's worse, really. The neighbours thinking that you've got a television that you watch all day, or that actually you've got a cabinet full of booze that you're trying to hide and you glug all that at night. You've got nothing else to do. You've had sex with your partner and you've done all that business. You're a bit bored of that. And so now you're just going to sort of drink yourself to smithereens. So, yeah, it was a bit weird, those early days of television. It was quite interesting. Very posh, says Linda. I bet I'm sure yours was very posh, Linda. You're a very posh lady. Very posh. Dave Ford says Ted Lowe, the snooker commentator. Oh, yes, here we go. And for those of you who are watching in black and white, the pink is next to the green. I got the colour right, though, didn't I? I said a pink ball, didn't I? The pink is next to that. That's right, exactly that. Nigel Sadler says each of the push buttons were individually TV tuners. Oh, I see. And you could twiddle the button to improve the reception, which on the South Coast was a full-time job in the summer because of, now you've called that, it's called cross-channel interference. I know that because my dad was an aerial engineer, and he used to tune aerials and make engines. Cross-channel interference is the technical term. And yes, you would suddenly be watching a programme and then slightly to the right or to the left, you would get the picture would come in. Hang on, I'm just looking at that screen over there. It would just be like this bit, and it would be some French dude talking. Oh, so you know, there you are watching Bergerac, probably before Bergerac, maybe Shoestring or something, and bum 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 ba 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 bum. How did Bergerac go? Maybe you were watching Softly Softly Task Force. Do you remember? Or Z-Cars. Oh, hee haw, hee haw, hee haw. Oh, hee haw, hee haw. Suddenly it was in French. Oh, so we are now going to arrest you in the name of the law. You are the very naughty man. You have been running off with the garlic. No, we cannot have. You're going off with the garlic. This is not good. And by which point Doctor Who would come on. Exterminate! We are the Daleks! I can't do the Daleks properly because I've got a cold. And even that is straining my vocal cords. Anyway, Kevin, as well as polyglamorous marriages. Well, everybody wants a wants to be married to glamorous Polly, don't they? Polly, who's she? Shoestring. Yeah, there we go. So it was all good fun. Now, we got to the lid. Sometimes it takes me a while to get to the exciting bit. Second on this, before we get to the grand fromage, as they say, which is, have no fear, it's coming. Mr. Kellison was very insistent that I have one of these. So I'm just going to... It's a bit of one of these box opening videos, you know. They have them on the internet, don't you know? Box opening. Did your missus really say I was an oddball? Bloody cheap. So here we have this is the first time I've opened this, so it's very, very exciting, I can tell you. I don't know if there's two. It looks like there's two connected. But it's actually... No, it's just the moulding. It's the moulding. It makes you think that two's got stuck inside here. Look. Stuck inside love. Cilla Black. 1972. But it's actually just one... It's one big tin and a lid. And that, it goes together like that. It's very nice. I don't think you're supposed to put it in the oven with the lid on. But the idea is, I mean, it's a massive, great big tin, like a cake tin. And he said, I'm going to send you some Mardi Gras mix. So I don't know what that is. Some sort of cake for Mardi Gras days. Are you still out there, Jeff? He's probably driving in his big truck. And so, you know, he said you can invite your friends round and make the cake. I said, I haven't got any friends. So I'll be eating this all myself, thank you very much. Yeah, so it's look how big that is. It's very nice. So at some point, I don't know when they celebrate Mardi Gras in America. He said they do it quite a lot. So he's gonna send me a Mardi Gras cake mix. Gonna make a video, mix it up, shove it in the oven, and then put the plastic lid on the top. So that's what we're doing with that. Put that down there. We still have the Grand Fromage to come. Bain Marie. What does Bain Marie mean? Dean Cooper says, well, that's next, Richard Vobes. What's next, Richard Vobes? Oh, that looks like a baking tin. Yes, that's right. We've just done that. Leon Selkirk says, hi, Mum and Dad. Hello. How are you? Can I stay up late tonight? Please, I want to watch a bit more of the Vobes show. He's a nice man and he makes me smile. Please, can I stay up? Oh, I'll do all the washing up tomorrow and hoover the floor. I will hoover the floor. I will. And I'll clean out the rabbit. Oh, sorry, the rabbit died 4 years ago. I know, I promised I would clean out the rabbit 4 years ago, but I put it in the microwave by mistake. Yeah, and I put my hot milk in the rabbit hutch. Hey-ho. Ramaboo is out there. Hello, Lisa. Hope you're well. Nice to see you. Thanks very much for coming along. Robert Crosser. Tell him, TLJ. Tell who what? Haven't got any friends. That's charming, says the lovely Julia. I only said that because I didn't want to share the cake with anyone. Oh, I'm going to blow my hooter. One moment, hooter being blown. Hey, what's up, Doug? It's all right. Everything's okay now. Thank you. Thank you for coming in. Luke Selkirk says, lots. He's grounded, Richard. Oh, he's grounded, is he? Well, that's no good. You can't ground him. He won't be able to get upstairs to go to bed. You should have upstairsed him, not grounded him. And also, if you're making coffee, that's different. It's always good to get hold of a small boy, shove him in the coffee maker, in the grinder, and but you do get done for murder for that, and it makes the coffee a red slushy colour, and it's really not tasty. Dean Cooper says that customs will confiscate any Mardi Gras food because of the spice in it. Oh, well, we won't tell them then. We'll just put it in a brown envelope and say it's crack cocaine. That way, they probably won't even look. That's how we do it in these days. Jeff Kellen says, starts the week of February the 6th. So I've got plenty of time to hone my skills. Might try making some cake, Christmas, some sort of sponge cake for the bath. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Spice, says Linda. Spice is nice, only when you cook with lice. Always have a little bit of spice handy for there. So now we move over to the Le Grand Fromage, ladies and gentlemen. This is the big thing. As you so rightly say, that is the lid. And it's not a lid, it's about the size, it's a little bit bigger actually than the old vinyl LPs, isn't it? But I wouldn't put that on a turntable if I was you. Sorry, just got to go and blow my hooter one more time, ladies and gentlemen, just a second. Now, oh, you caught me. Before we go to the Grand Fromage, I almost forgot. Have a look at this. Oh, that's a giveaway, isn't it? That's not supposed to happen. Rewind. You didn't see that. You didn't see that. Wait a minute. Hang on a minute. Just pretend that didn't happen. And have a look at this. Anybody know what that is? That's a close-up of an object that may be, something that you've got, maybe a familiar thing. You may use it for smartening up your hair or something, but who knows? But that is an object that we want you to guess what it is. Sorry, Nigel. Nigel Sadler sent that in, and I've just cocked it right up. Anyway, let's go to the Grand Fromage. He says, Jeff Kellison says, it's kind of a cross between spice cake and chocolate cake. You guys will really like it because we eat a lot of sweets. You guys will really like it because we eat stuff a lot sweeter than you do. That's very true. Rob King says, can't be familiar to you. No, I've never seen one of these things. I have absolutely no idea what they do. Linda Kane says, you're going to have to grow your hair. The secret's out. Yes, I'm going to have a big afro. That's what I'm doing. Right, up here. Is that upside down? This has been sent in by the very lovely Elaine Brazier. Oh no, beg your pardon, by the lovely Jeff Kellison, who fortunately Jeff sent this. What did you say? Oh yeah, I can hear now. I can hear. These are my big ears. I need another one for this side, and I'll have massive ears. They're my Mickey Mouses. So this is a frying pan, ladies and gentlemen. As you heard at the beginning, Jeff had seen that I had used a $12 skillet, as he said. Jeff is a lovely and very generous bloke, and he's been so helpful over the last few months. Ever since I've never met him actually, Jeff, never met you, but you really are such a generous man. And there's a Christmas box coming, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm blown away. I am blown away. He supports the Vobes show and the Bald Explorer. And he also supports the Bat Lady, who I think is in Australia. And I'm sure he must be sending her bats every 10 days. Lovely, furry, pepper squilly bats, whatever. But he sent me this. And somewhere in here... This is not like your ordinary box opening video. Oh, my apple. Here we go. Oh! This is solid state, you know. That is solid plastic. And ta-da! Look at that. Very heavy. Very... Oh, hang on. There's a sticker in here. Stick that up there for the minute. Out the way. This is special reinforced Teflon. And when I'm cleaning windows, dee 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 dee, yeah dee 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 dee, everything do 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 do. When I'm cleaning windows, turned out nice again, hasn't it? That was Barry Manilow. No, it wasn't Barry Manilow. There we go. This looks absolutely amazing. Thank you so much, Jeff. I'm overwhelmed. He said, you know, you'll be able to cook your chicken in there, Richard. Oh. He said, you'll be able to cook your chicken and your meals in there. I said, blimey, did you know this is actually about the same size as the hob on the Essie? So I'm really looking forward to doing that. So, and this is the lid that goes with it. Not a cheap item, I can tell you that. I'm so lucky. I really do appreciate it. Isn't that... That's a pancake. Ed Loud says, Richard, when you took the sticker off your head, you pulled your hair off with it. Oh, no. That can happen. So here it is. This is a lovely bit of kit for the old kitchen. So obviously I'm going to make a video cooking something with it. But what I would like some suggestions from you now, ladies and gentlemen, before the end of the show. Just put it over there. Some suggestions from you, ladies and gentlemen. I just need to move this cushion underneath my body. That's so much nicer. Yes, it's a finger cushion. I won't tell you where the finger's going. Anyway, that was rude. Excuse me. I'm not very well, you see. I want to know what I can cook in the frying pan with the non-stick surface with the lid. Something that, you see, the lovely Julia said as soon as she's well, she wants to come over and we're going to cook something. There's enough space to cook for the pair of us and probably half the road over here. So I'll be interested in that. So what do we got here? Omelette, says Fiona Cooper. That's a good suggestion. Bye, everybody can't stay. I'm busy having a party in my room. Oh, well, that's nice. Have a nice little party. Julia says, pancakes. Yes, that's good. Rami Boo says, now what is a frittata? Hang on. Frittata. What's a frittata? Tell me what a frittata is. Crepes? Yes, crepes would be good. Pancakes is paella. Yeah, now, does that paella have fish? I don't like fish. Ooh, crepes. That would be good. Not craps, but crepes. They're the French ones. Give me some... You just froze. Oh, sometimes that does happen. According to the technical boys in the back here, which is my mate Eric. Have we frozen, Eric? Just one moment, please. I just need to go and have a quick word with Eric. Have we frozen, Eric?
No, sir. No, sir. It's you're still going out, sir. It's all perfectly well, sir. You keep going, sir.
Righto. Thank you, Eric. Eric says that we're still transmitting. A Spanish pancake. Oh, what? Tell me the difference between a Spanish omelette and a Spanish pancake. A Spanish omelette I've made in the past, where you have sliced potatoes and all of that. That would be nice. It's lovely. So I may have to get Mr. Suggett round. By the way, poor old Mr. Suggett's not been very well recently. He's had man flu, and he's played Superman. He's got a cloak, and he's man flew across the sky and saved a potato from being eaten the wrong way up. He's a dedicated veg grower. Elijah Hartley says, goodbye to D for bricks. No Teflon. We need you healthy. Yeah. Oh, no Teflon. Is this not Teflon? I thought that was Teflon. Hang on. Anyway, that would actually, when you look at it like that, it looks like a former prime minister, doesn't it? I'll let you work out which one that one was. No Teflon. Mary at Genealogy says, does Eric sublet the basement to Wally and Jeffrey? Very good. Wally. He may well. I think they're in small compartments. Wally and Jeffrey. Oh, thank you for mentioning that. That's made my evening, that has. Linda Kane says, Spanish omelette. You can use up the leftover veg. Linda, I've got a task for you. Could you send me a recipe for a Spanish omelette, or a suggestion of how you might cook one, and I'll get the lovely Julia and I will cook one up on the essay over the weekend if she's well enough. That would be absolutely fantastic. Dean Cooper says, what is man flu? Never had it. No, well, you need a red cloak, and you need some sort of red Speedos that you wear over your trousers, so that man flew over the cuckoo's nest, I think it was. Man Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, very famous book, along with, who wrote that, Man Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? And then there's the other one, the Midwich Cuckoos, and whose cuckoos are these cuckoos? And cuckoo, 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 that famous song. And of course, there's the cuckoo, 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 cuckoo. I can't do the devil's. Try doing the devil's gallop to a cuckoo. Just can't be done. Chili con carne. Oh, there we are. One of my favourites. I'm eating it home cooked now. Yes, but Julia, you don't have it spicy enough for the Vobes one-eyed Kenobi. That's what I should have had to get rid of the cold. I might do a very hot, spicy one. Jeff, that is such a generous and very kind thing. I am overwhelmed. Thank you so much. We will make a video and bung it out so people can see it. And we will see how Le Croquet deals as with the cheap supermarket $12 skillet does. You can do spag bowl sauce in a frying. But I used to know a friend who used to call it spag bog, which I always thought was a good name. Spag bowl sauce in a fry. Just the sauce. Oh, okay. Ramiboo says, you have taken too much cold medicine. You are extra silly today. Yes, I'm so sorry about that. I must... and now time for to be absolutely serious. And that's a serious moment in the show, ladies and gentlemen, where only my eyebrows are capable of moving in an up and down direction and not sideways to meet up with my ears. My Adam's apple is taking the afternoon off, and I shall have Adam and Eve's orange stuffed down my throat instead. Linda Kane says, I think he may be feeling a little better. That is the trouble, you see, if I do a show and starting to feel a little better. It's 8:52 here in the jolly old UK. So I'm going to go. But before we go completely, I've had some postcards. Not postcards, what are these? Easter, Mother's cards. Yes, we've got Christmas cards. Here's a lovely Christmas card. Perhaps you'd like to have a look at that. Isn't that a lovely scene? Look at that lovely scene. There's a church. There's a steeple. Open the doors. You can't see any of the people. Is that lovely? That's very nice. I'll tell you where that's from. I'll tell you. We'll have to go and look inside now. It says, Richard, may I be the first to wish you happy Easter. Happy? There's an H in happy, you know. 2020. Oh, right, yeah. Happy Easter for Happy Easter. Best wishes, Terence Dacombe. Thank you so much, Terence. I don't know if you're watching this rubbish, but that's very kind of you. Nice Easter. In fact, I did ask for cards. I think only Easter cards last year or something like that. Anyway, thank you very much for that. It's very kind of you. Merry Christmas. This one, I suppose you want to see this. Hang on, I'm going to go to the webcam and give you a different view. There we are, look at that. Merry Christmas. And that one is, I'll tell you where that's from. This is from the lovely Shirley. Best wishes, all the best 2020. The other interesting thing is both of these contained money. Donations to the old Bald Explorer. And talking of which, if you wish to become a patron of the Bald Explorer and help me go out and make these videos, and then just very much in the way that Jeff Killison has done by sending in Le Creuset banjo, which has been very nice to play on the show when I'm cleaning windows. don't forget to go to thebaldexplorer.com and make your donations there, which would be very kind. You know, Christmas is coming. The goose is very thin. Poor little goose. He needs a few ounces of flesh in him. Merriott Genealogy says, did Deirdre Dimple ever find true love? Never mind Deirdre Dimple. Did Geoffrey ever? Geoffrey was besotted with Deirdre Dimple. There are a couple of books that I've written about Wally and Geoffrey and their adventures at Snod Hill. You can... I'm not sure if they're published, actually. I've written the books. I think one of them is out there. I can't even remember now. Nobody buys them, so I never bother to promote them. I thought Adam had a banana as a male, says Dean Cooper. No, he's got an apple, mate. He had an apple. Don't you remember? He had an apple in the Garden of Eden. He picked the apple, and he ate most of it, and he gave the rest to Eve. And she said, I wish you'd taken the pip as well. Anyway, that's a very bad joke that you've come to expect from the Vobes on the Vobe show. So there we are. So, yeah, thanks for those suggestions for the food. That would be very nice. That's very kind of you. Thank you very much. In next week's show, lovely Julia hopefully will be here. And the lovely Julia is going to be trying some of these, which we mentioned before. That's some sort of brandy chocolates or something. I can't remember what they are now. Nuggety bars of caramel. Rami Boo says, why don't you do Super Chat on your live show so folks can donate here too? Or is that a US thing? I don't know how you... I don't think I've got enough... I think you need to have a certain number of subscribers before you can do Super Chat. For those that don't know what Super Chat is, it's a way of people will donate whilst you're watching live. They might give you $5 or $2 or something, and I get a notification in the show, and it says so-and-so has donated $5, and it means they get a special mention. I mean, here I try to mention everybody, I try to be as generous as I can, reading out all the comments. How often, says Rob King, is the Vobe show on? Well, it's on guaranteed guaranteed at the moment on Wednesday evenings, UK time, GMT, 8 o'clock for an hour. But during the winter, I'm trying to do more of them because, I can't get out as often as I would like for the Bald Explorer. So I'm trying to do them Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. Mondays and Fridays, doesn't always happen. But Wednesdays, as much as I can, I keep that as a definite. But Mondays and Fridays, if I can do them, I will do them. So where are we today? Friday. So the next show should be Monday, 8 o'clock. Linda Kane says, do you realise you have a subscriber for every day of the year? Now, do you realise you have a subscriber for every day of the year here now? Do I? I don't know. What do you mean, Linda? What do you mean? By the way, if you have a look at the back, we have changed the calendar. Let me show you the calendar before we go. We are now in December. Just going over to the back here. This calendar was erected by the very lovely Nigel Sadler. And let's go onto the webcam so you can see it. The webcam's not in a very good place to see things. In fact, just a moment. That was a while ago. That was Matthew Holdsworth, lovely Julia, Mark English, Mr. Suggett, and some bald twit who happened to wander in by mistake. So there we are. Julie Hartley says the show has 365 subscribers. That's not enough for Super Chat, unfortunately, but that's what you're saying, Linda. Thank you very much. I have no idea. I very rarely look at the analytics for these things because it just depresses me. When I look at the analytics, I just go, what, I've worked this hard and there's only 5 people have watched it? And then some bloke on a motorbike will have a little camera on his head and he'll just, no effort, 400,000. So in the end, I just decided I'm not going to be worried about the viewing figures and the numbers, because if you do, you get so pent up and frustrated by it all. So it's best not to. So that's good. Price Hiker says it might be 366 actually if it was a leap year. It's a leap year next year. Did you know that? It's a leap year next year. I'm missing out next year, 2021. I'm going to be back. No, I'm only joking. This was a Christmas management meeting photo, says Nigel sadly. Yes, it was. We haven't had a Christmas. I don't think we've had a management meeting this whole year, which explains a lot about how the Bald Explorer is going down the hill. We must get it back on track. So if any of the senior management team are watching, come on, we need to have a meeting. Anyway, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We have come to the end of the show. Thank you so much for watching tonight. It was an informal and a bit mad, zany sort of show. Hope you enjoyed it. Quality, not quantity, says Luke Selkirk. We do try our best to keep the lack of quality in this show as much as possible. We don't want you people to be overwhelmed and think you've tuned into the BBC or anything like that. We try and make this as misshapen and slap happy as we possibly can. However, there are people like the lovely Jeff, who has been responsible for improving some of the show's backdrops with some of the bits and pieces that we've got in here. So I'm having to bring the quality up. Fiona Cooper says good night, X. So she said good night to her ex, which is nice. Good night to him. And in the meantime, I'm going to go. So take care, one and all. I'm going to rest my throat, have a nice hot cocoa, and probably toddle off to bed. So there we are. Thank you so much. Take care. Enjoy your weekend. Hope to see you on Monday. But until then, from me, arrivederci. Bye for now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.